All right, here we are at the table. My setup's different, isn't it? I got a little present. It was cheap, so I got it because I heard so much about it. I got one of those Zoom CDR 70 MS, Zoom MS 70 CDR. That's what it's called. And oh my god, it is freaking awesome. That pedal and this synth, it's like, that's all you need, man. So I've taken the Casio off the table because I'm needing some more room. And so yeah, what are we doing today? Oh, right. Last week we made an Apophenia Machine, and we put together points of data, and we're going to use those points of data, we're going to connect them, and we're going to tell a story. And how I'm going to tell you the story is with music. I'm going to improv a soundtrack for each chapter, and I figured out what I'm going to do for each chapter is use a setup for that chapter, and just improvise a jam, a very, very simple jam, and tell the story of that chapter. And I'm going to break, each chapter is going to be when we drew a new character in the storyline. So what I did, since we used the Apophenia Machine, is I made notes for each chapter. I haven't written the story out yet, but I've written notes for each chapter, and I know what beats I want to hit when I make the soundtrack to tell this story in my head. And the story that you might get from this is probably not going to be the story that's in my head, because you have no way to see the movie that I'm playing along with. But that's okay, because it'll let you create your own movie based on the sound of my improv. And oh man, I gotta tell you, tonight's Gummy, I don't know if I could do this. I got a pretty good Gummy going tonight, let me tell you. Anyways, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, so the movie in my head is probably not going to be anything like the movie in your head, but you can use the data that we created with the Apophenia Machine and add this soundtrack to it. And if you're a musician, or if you're not a musician, feel free to use this soundtrack for anything, and add your own little bits to it and stuff, or edit it and chop it up to fit your story, and do whatever you want with it, right? So what were the cards that we drew for the first chapter? Who is the first guy? Let me check, because I wrote that down, right? Okay, yeah. So it's the apprentice to the seeker in the desert with lots of water, and he comes into possession of a magic axe, is what we wrote down last time. So there was apprentice card, 2 water cards, desert. Oh, and it's during a drought. There's a drought in the desert. So it was apprentice. Oh man, what was it? It was apprentice, a desert card, a magic axe card, a drought condition, and the apprentice is the apprentice to the seeker, and was a whole bunch of things that the seeker could mean. That was the modifier we put on it. All right. So what I've done is I've created loops on the two chaos machines, and I've got a point form of whoopsie daisy, what am I doing? Oh my goodness. Hey, I can put that there. I got a clock so I could tell how long I'm going. What am I doing? Oh yeah, so I've got my point forms here, and we're going to try to jam to this now. Man, I am babbling today. Okay, here we go. What are we doing? Let's play and record. All right. That was really fun. I'm glad I wrote down the point form because it helped me keep the story in my mind as I was playing it. And it was kind of neat, for me at least. For me it was really cool because, like I said, everything syncs up to the movie in my head. It's going to be weird for you though, because you'll be doing this backwards to me, because I played the music based on what I saw happening in my head, and you're going to be making things happen in your head based on the music that you hear here. So anyways, that's it. That's it for this week's Gummy Show. It was a fun one. So yeah, so we used the about the Apophenia Machine. I didn't realize it, but the cards I used, they're out of prints and they're a little pricey because of that. I lucked out. I got them at like a swap meet thing, but you can use any game cards that you have to build an Apophenia Machine, or you can even draw your own cards to build an Apophenia Machine of your own for getting ideas for making stories. You could even just use a deck of playing cards and write down a little table, and that each card represents, if it's being used as an object, then you'd have a row for objects, and if you're using it as a modifier, a row for modifiers, and another row for characters and conditions and stuff like that, right? You could do it with like an ordinary deck of cards. So don't feel you have to use those cards I used to make your own Apophenia Machine if you want to make one. Wow, I'm really babbling. It was a good gummy tonight. I had fun. I had a lot of fun doing this. This was great. Anyways, that's it. We're going to wrap the Gummy Show up now before I get too silly.